We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Ches Amud Aleph in Meseches Sanhedrin. This is Sanhedrin Daf 38a. This Amud is sponsored by Alexander Rosenfeld in memory of Willie Rosenfeld. Thank you for your sponsorship. If you'd like to sponsor an Amud or a Daf, see the description box below, and see the description box below to see how you can support this channel. On the previous Amud, the Gemara was discussing the fact that exile, that Golus can be mechaper on everything because Yechonia was exiled, and that's why even though originally he was not supposed to have children, in the end he did have children because that Golus, that exile, it was an atonement for everything. And the Gemara said that the child that he had was named Shaltiel, and the Gemara now asks why is he called Shaltiel, and the Gemara is in the middle of explaining that most women are not able to become pregnant while standing up. V'hi nisabra mu'umad, and she was able to become pregnant while standing up. And Rashi explains, the reason was they were in prison. It was a very narrow area. There wasn't enough area, there wasn't enough space in order to lie down, and that's why she became pregnant while she was standing up. And again, that's why he's called Shaltiel. And the Gemara continues with another explanation why he's called Shaltiel. Davar Acher, another explanation, Shaltiel shenishal alalaso. The reason he's called Shaltiel is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to ask, so to speak, to get rid of his oath. He took an oath that Yechonia wouldn't have children, and now he is going to have children, so he had to go back on that oath. That's why he's referred to as Shaltiel. And Rashi explains, alalaso lahatir lo. He had to make that neder, that oath, he had to make it mutter. Gezeira shenishba shelo yehe lo ben, meaning the decree that he originally took as an oath, that Yechonia would not have a son, v'hitiru lo pamalya shalmala, but then that was undone. Ushvua ksiva bahi parsha, that's referred to as a shvua, that had to be undone. So again, that's why he was called Shaltiel. And the Gemara continues quoting a pasuk in Chagai, El Zerubbabel to Zerubbabel. We'll see the whole pasuk. The full pasuk says, Dvar Hashem bi'ad Chagai Hanavi El Zerubbabel ben Shaltiel. It says that Zerubbabel was the son of this Shaltiel. And why is he referred to as Zerubbabel? Shenizra beBavel, because he was conceived in Bavel. Umashmo, but what was his actual name? Nehemiah ben Chakalia Shemo. His actual name was Nehemiah ben Chakalia. And the Gemara continues, Yehuda v'Chizkiah b'nei Rebbe Chia have a Yasvi b'Sudasa kamei Rebbe. Yehuda and Chizkiah, they were the sons of Rebbe Chia. They were sitting at a meal in front of Rebbe. V'lo havika amri v'lo midi. They weren't speaking at all. Amar lu, so he said to them, Agavru chamra dardiki, give more wine to these young men. Ki hechi delemra mil, so that way it will loosen their tongues and they'll say something. Kevan de Ivsim, when they became drunk, paschu v'amru, they opened their mouths and they said as follows, Ein ben David ba, the son of David will not come, the Mashiach will not come, until these two major families are destroyed, are finished from Klal Yisrael. What are the two families? Ve'eluhain, the following families. Rosh Gola, the family of the Rosh Gola Shebebavel, the family of the head of the exile in Bavel. V'nasi Sheberetz Yisrael, and also the family of the Nasi in Eretz Yisrael. Mashiach will only come when those families are finished. Shenemar, how do we know that? As it says in the pasuk, this is a pasuk in Yeshayahu. V'hayo lemikdash u'li'evan nigaf u'letzur michshol l'shnei batei Yisrael. It's going to be an Evan Nigaf, it's going to be a stone of offense, so to speak, and it'll be a rock of stumbling for the two Batei Yisrael. That refers to these two houses of Israel. And Rashi explains, V'haya Moshiach shal Yisrael, Lemikdash shal Yisrael, this savior of Klal Yisrael. And Rashi explains, Evan Nigaf, a stone of offense, Memar Hagolus, it speeds the exile, Shemin Hagefes es Raglaim, it damages the feet, these stones damage the feet, so to speak. Uletzor Michshol, a stumbling block, a rock that's a stumbling block. Sela Machshelu, again, it's a rock which is a stumbling block. Yeh l'shnei Batei Yisrael, that's what this will be for these two houses of Yisrael. And the Gemara continues, Amar Lahem, so Rebbe said to them, Bonai, my children, you're putting thorns in my eyes. You're saying that my family will be destroyed because he, of course, was the Nasi. Amar le Rebbe Chia said to him, Rebbe, al yeira beinecha, Rebbe, it shouldn't be bad in your eyes because yayin niton b'shivim osios, because yayin is given with 70 letters. What that means to say is that the gematria of the word yayin is 70. V'sod niton b'shivim osios, and also the gematria of the word sod, which means secret, that is also 70. Nichnas yayin yotza sod, so when the wine enters, the secrets exit, and that's why they are revealing these secrets. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Chisda, Amar Marukva. Rav Chisda says that Marukva says, V'amri lo Amar Rav Chisda Darash Mori Bar Mar. Some have the version that Rav Chisda said that Mori Bar Mar Darshan Ma'idach Siv. What does it mean when it's written in the pasuk This is a pasuk in Sefer Daniel. Vayishkod Hashem al hara. It says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He hastened the evil. Vayavi aleinu. He brought it upon us. Ki tzadik Hashem Elokeinu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is righteous. And so the Gemara asks, Mishum de tzadik Hashem, because Hashem is righteous. Vayishkod Hashem al hara vayavi aleinu. That's why He hastened the evil against us. And the Gemara says, yes, tzedakah asa HaKadosh Baruch Hu im Yisrael. It actually was an act of righteousness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did with Klal Yisrael. Shehikdim Golas Tzidkiyahu, because He made the exile of Tzidkiyahu, He made it a little earlier. V'od Golas Yechanya Kayemis, He did that on purpose while the exile of Yechanya was still around. D'chsiv be begolas Yechanya, because it says by the exile of Yechanya, HaCharash v'Maskir Elef, it says there were 1,000 Charash and Maskir. And the Gemara now understands what does it mean Charash and Maskir. Usually that would be a reference to the artisans, but the Gemara darshans Charash Kevan Sheposchin Hakol Nasu Kecharashin. What the word when it says the Cheresh, it's referring to as if someone is deaf. When these Torah scholars, when they would say something, everybody else would not be able to respond. It was as if they were deaf. This is a reference to 1,000 Torah scholars. And Maskir Kevan Shesogan B'Halacha, the same thing as in the word Maskir. When they closed the Halacha, when they finished stating a Halacha, Shuvein Poschin, nobody could open it up again. The Kamahayu, how many of those were there? Elif, there were 1,000 Torah scholars, and they were able to teach those that came in the Golos Tzidkiyahu. And the Gemara continues with another answer. Ula Amar Ula says, Shehiktim shtei shanim levinoshantem, that their exile was 2 years earlier than the gematria of vinoshantem. Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov says, Shema mino, you see from this, Meheira demori olma, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that it's going to come quickly, that's actually Tamni Meya v'chamshin v'tarat and Hava, that's actually 852 years. And Rashi explains, Ula Amar Ula says, Tzedakah shel shkida, what was the righteous act of HaKadosh Baruch Hu of bringing the evil faster? Hainu hiktim churban shtei shanim, that's that the destruction came 2 years earlier, legematria de vinoshantem, 2 years earlier than the gematria of vinoshantem. Dahainu tamne meya v'chamishim v'tartin, because the gematria of vinoshantem is actually 852, so they should have been exiled after 852 years from coming into Eretz Yisrael. V'heim galu l'sof shmona meos v'chamishim, but they actually were exiled after 850 years. That's 2 years early. That's 2 years earlier. Shenichnasu la'aretz. So it was 850 years after they entered Eretz Yisrael that they were actually exiled. Chsiv, as it's written in the pasuk, Vahi b'shmonim shana v'arba meos shana v'mei ba'yis rishon dalid meos v'eser. It talks about the fact that after 480 years, so then they built the first Beis HaMikdash, and that first Beis HaMikdash lasted 410 years. Harei ches meos v'tishim, that comes out to a total of 890. Tzei mehem mem shana shenishto b'midbar. Now you have to subtract the 40 years they were in the midbar, because that 480 years is actually from when they left Mitzrayim, so you have to subtract 40 years. Harei shmona meos v'chamishim, that comes out to 850. V'ilmolei hayamamten ad vinoshantem. Now, if you would have waited another 2 years for 852, again, the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed after 850, but if it would have been vinoshantem, if it would have been 852, then hayamiskayim behem ki avod tovedon maher. Then what the pasuk next says is that they would surely be destroyed quickly. V'shamei tishamedon techsiv b'hi parshasa. That's what it says in that parsha, and so they avoided the avod tovedon maher by being exiled 2 years early. And Rashi continues, Meheira demari olma, the Meheira, the quickly of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, dehu gematria de vinoshantem, the quickly would refer to the gematria of vinoshantem, the korele avod tovedon maher. It says that if it would be 852 years, you'd be quickly destroyed. V'akdama de shtei shanim tzedakah haisa, and again, the fact that it was 2 years earlier was just an act of righteousness by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So again, you see the Meheira of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is 852 years. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Lefikach, therefore, and the Mishnah gave a number of reasons why Adam was created alone. And the Gemara says, Tanu Rabban, and the rabbis taught, Adam Yechidi Nivra, the reason why Adam was created alone. Umibnei Ma, what's the reason for that? Shelo Yehu Haminim Omrin, so that the heretics shouldn't say, Harbe Rishuyos Bashamayim, that there are many gods in the heavens. Davar Acher, another explanation, Mibnei Hatzadikim Umibnei Harishayim, it's because there are righteous people and there are wicked people. Shelo Yehu Hatzadikim Omrim Anu B'nei Tzadik, this way the Tzadikim won't say, we are the children of a tzaddik, or Rishoim Omrim, Anu b'nei Rasha, and the wicked will say, we're the children of a Rasha. Everyone comes from the same person. Davar Acher, another explanation, Mibnei HaMishbachos, it's for families. Shelo Yehu Mishbachos Misgaro Zu B'zu, if everyone comes from the same ancestor, that will prevent families from arguing with one another. And the Gemara says, Uma Achshav, if nowadays, Shenivra Yachid, where Adam was created alone, still Miskaro, still there is fighting among families, Nivru Shnayim Alachas Kama V'Kama. If originally two people were created, which the world came from, all the more so that there would be fighting among families. Davar acher, another explanation, Mimnei hagazlanin u'mimnei hachamsanin, it's because people who steal and plunder, u'ma'achshav shenivri yachidi, because if now, when Adam was created alone, gozlin v'chomsin, people steal, and people take from others, nivru shnayim, so if two people were created, alachas kama v'kama, how much more so there would be theft and there would be stealing. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, "Ulahagid gedula." So the fact that man was created alone also shows the greatness of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. And the Gemara says, "Tanu Rabbanan," the rabbis taught, "Lahagid gedula." So shel Melech Malchei Amlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. This shows the greatness of the King of Kings Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Shel Adam tovei kama matbeos bechosam echad. Because if a person stamps many coins with one seal, v'kulan domin zelazeh, all of the coins will be identical. Aval Hakadosh Baruch Hu tovei kol adam bechosamo shel Adam Harishon. But Hakadosh Baruch Hu, he stamps, he seals every person's face through the seal, so to speak, of Adam Harishon. Everyone comes from Adam Harishon, but no one's face is similar. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, Tesafich chomer chosam. Again, it's like he's stamping them with a seal. But they're like garments. All garments are different. And the Gemara says, why is it that that people's faces are not all the same? That a person shouldn't see a nice house, a person shouldn't see a nice looking woman. He'll be able to claim that she is mine because everyone looks alike. That's the reason everyone looks different. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, v'yimnar mirsham oram, he prevents from the wicked their light. Uzra rama tishaver, and the high arm is broken, meaning he prevents the risham from being able to carry out these kinds of plans. And the Gemara continues, Tanya, we learned in a brayso, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Meir would say, B'shlosha dvarim adam mishtana mechavero, a person is different from his friend in three ways. B'kol, b'mara, uvedas, he's different in his voice and the way he looks, and also in the way he thinks. B'kol, uv'mara, the reason why people have different voices and look different, mishum ervetz, like we said above, it's to prevent arayas. Again, someone might end up being with another person's wife because they look alike. Uvedas, and the reason why people think differently, mimnei hagazlanin v'hachamsanin, because if everyone thought the same way, it would be easy to steal from one another. And Rashi explains, Tesafech kechomer chosam la'achar misaso shel adam, mesapech chosam shelo lechomer, vayisiatzu kamo lavush b'schias hamesim. It means to say that after a person dies, so then his seal, it goes away, so to speak, and then he stands up like a garment at the times of Tchias HaMesim. And from the fact that it's called a chosam, the point is, Shma mina b'chosam hein tevu, and you see that the way that the people's faces are made is like the way a stamp seals. V'yomar shalihi, and again, they look different because otherwise people will say, that's mine. Ve'ein adam machisho, no one can contradict him. Hoel ve'ein heker beinein, if the people didn't look different. Ve'yimna mirasham oram, he prevents from the wicked their light. Klester panov, meaning to say, again, that's how the face looks. Since they don't look the same, he breaks the high arm, meaning he prevents the Rasha from saying that is mine. Mishum erva, again, it's to prevent arayas. This way you're not going to take the wrong woman during the daytime because everyone looks the same, or at night because the voices, since people don't look the same, since the voices are different, there's going to be no confusion. The reason why people think different is to prevent thievery. If a person knows what's in the heart of his friend, he'll be able to search, so to speak, in his mind, in his hidden things. He'll be able to find through his hidden things, he'll know where his money is, and so that prevents theft. And the Gemara continues, Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Adam Nivra Be'erev Shabbos, man was created on Friday. What's the reason for that? So that the heretics shouldn't say, Shutef hayalo HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'ma'aseh bereishis, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had a partner in ma'aseh bereishis, meaning to say, if Adam was created at the beginning, people would say HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Adam, they worked together to create everything else. That's why Adam was created at the end. And the Gemara continues, Davar Acher, another explanation, Shem Tazuach Daito Olav, let's say a man becomes arrogant, Omer Lo will say to him, Yitosh Kadmach b'ma'aseh bereishis, even a mosquito preceded you in the acts of creation. Davar Acher, another explanation, Kadesh Yikanes LeMitzvah Miyad, if he's created on Erev Shabbos, so right away he enters a mitzvah, he enters into Shabbos. Davar Acher, another explanation, Kadesh Yikanes LeSu'uda Miyad, the reason the world was created before Adam was created is so that he should be able to eat right away. Everything would be created for him. Mashal Melech Basar V'dam, a mashal to a king, Shabana Palterin V'shichlalan, that he builds and he fixes up his whole palace. V'hiskin Su'uda, he prepares a meal. V'achakach, and only after that, Hichnis Orcha Malach, and only after that does he invite in guests. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, Chachmos bansa beisa, Chatzva modeh shiva, Tavcha tivcha, Moscha yena afarcha shulchana, Shalchan aroset tikra al gape merome keres. And the Gemara now interprets these psukim in Mishlei Chachmos bansa beisa. With wisdom she built her house. Zumi daso shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did when he created the world. Shabaras kol olam kulo, b'chachma, that he built the entire world with wisdom. And then it said Chatzva amudei shiva. It talks about these 7 pillars that she made, she fashioned. Elu shivas yimei breishis. The word shiva over here is a reference to the 7 days of creation. And then it said Tavcha tivcha mascha yena af archa shulchana. What does that refer to? Elu yamim v'naharos v'chol tzarchei olam. Refers to the wine, it refers to the table. What it's referring to is the seas and the rivers and everything the world needs. And then it says Shalchan aroseh tikra ze Adam v'chava. When it says Shalchan aroseh tikra, that's a reference to Adam and Chava. And then it says Al gape merome kares. And the Gemara says, Rabba Bar Bar Chana Rami, Rabba Bar Bar Chana, with reference to this pasuk, he said it was a contradiction in psukim. Ksiv al gape, because on the one hand it says al gape, as Rashi says, gape is makam gavoa. It sounds like Adam is on a high place. But then it's written also in the pasuk al kisei, that he's on the chair. Betchila al gape ulevasof al kisei. Originally he's high up, and then he's on the chair. What does that mean? And Rashi explains, ulevasof kishasarach, it means that when he sinned, so then nitra, then he was pushed away from, then he was pushed down, and that's why he goes from up high, he goes down to the kisei. And the Gemara continues, the pasuk continues in Mishlei mipesi yasur heina chasar leiv amrolo. The pasuk says that the simple one turns here, the one who lacks understanding says to him. And the Gemara interprets the pasuk, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, mipiso lazeh isha amrolo. Who's the one that convinced Adam to sin? It was the woman. And Rashi explains, mipesi yasur heina basrei the high crux siv mipiso lazeh she yasur heina lechol min eitz. It's referring to eating from the eitz hadas. Chasar leiv amrolo ha'isha she chasar leiv amrolo. Means to say that his wife, who was chasar leiv, who lacked understanding, she's the one who said that to him. And the Gemara continues, Dechsiv, as it's written in the pasuk, Noef isha chasar leiv. He who commits adultery with a woman is lacking understanding. And the Gemara continues, Tanya will learn in a brayso, Hayi Rabbi Meir, Omer Rabbi Meir would say, Adam Harishon mikol ha'olam kulo hutzbar afaro. Adam Harishon, from the whole world, his dirt was gathered, meaning the dirt that was used to create him. It was gathered from all over the world. Shenamar, as it says in the pasuk, and this is a pasuk in Tehillim, Golmi roe necha, unformed your eyes saw. And Rashi explains, Golmi roe necha mikol mare necha niglamti. V'hainu kol olam kulo. It means from everything that you were able to see, from the whole world, that's what you were formed. It's written in Zechariah, that the eyes of Hashem are on all of the earth. He gathered offer from all of the earth to form Adam Harishon. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Oshia Mishmei de Rav. Rav Oshia says in the name of Rav, Adam Harishon, when it comes to Adam Harishon, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Ches Amid Beis.